Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back to another stream of Stonks Maxxing. Today's day 16. I'm gonna be honest, I kind of lost track, so it might not be day 16. But what we're gonna talk about today is tech. It's 11:42. I have about maybe 30 minutes to an hour to spend on this. So why I'm talking about tech today is part of, I guess, so scratch that. I don't know what I'm talking about when I said part of my. It's kind of late, so my mind isn't thinking straight. But I was trying to say, I recently got an email back from one of the clubs at my school saying that I got a new position as one of the tech analysts for, I guess you could say it's a club fund that our school helps run. And I want to learn as much as possible about tech, so I'm going to use these streams to hopefully get accustomed to the tech industry and then some of the companies within the tech industry, both public and private. Maybe I've thought about this a little bit, nothing super seriously, but it would be cool to really understand the history of technology. And technology is a super broad subject, and it honestly kind of changes throughout history, right? Nowadays, whenever I think about technology, I'm thinking about the internet, I'm thinking about computers, I'm thinking about semiconductors, I'm thinking about different types of computer chips. So these are what I think of technology, and I think what I guess you could say finance analysts or stock pickers, maybe business analysts, how they would classify the idea of technology. And the reason I say that is because when I look at the, I think, global industry classification system that's run by, I think it's partnership between MSCI and also S&P, Standard and Poor's. They kind of split up the broad investment universe of public companies into 11 different types of industries, or at the top level, they call them sectors. So you have 11 different sectors. Within those sectors, you have these industries. Within these industries, you have sub-industries. And I guess you could say within those industries, you have, within those sub-industries, you have even more detailed classifications. So when I'm thinking about technology, then I'm probably going to be thinking about the idea of, one, I think there's the hardware and semiconductor manufacturers, and then second is the information technology. Information technology, I think, can be then broken up into kind of software applications, maybe data centers. Also, those are the two one I can think of. So software, data centers, or maybe databases, data providers. And is that really all technology is with computers? Maybe computer manufacturers, something like that. So let's. Okay, so tech industry. I see. So they call the information technology. GICS, information technology sector. Here we go. So you have technology, hardware and equipment, software and services. So information technology services, right? And then you have software / services, and then also technology, hardware, and equipment. You also have semiconductor and semiconductor equipment. So, when I hear about these things, I kind of understand what software is. This is a program, a computer program that I guess you could say accomplishes some type of task. That's what software is really at its core. Services probably is going to include, I see IT services, so this is consulting, data processing, internet services, and infrastructure, okay? And then you have technology, hardware, and equipment. So I'm thinking this could include things like computers, phones, okay, communications equipment, that's one of them. Yeah, electronic equipment, instruments, and components. So calculators, maybe even health-related products. I'm thinking biotechnology products, X-rays. That might be a bit of a reach, but more so maybe healthcare sector where you have, I guess you could say, healthcare gadgets, medical devices. That's the term. And then semiconductors. So semiconductors, I don't fully know what they actually are. So maybe that's something we can ask ChatGPT, but let's start with Google. Okay, I realize my screen died. Okay, here we go. Oh, the conductor versus insulator. Electrons, protons. Electrons and protons. I feel like those are maybe the fundamental building blocks of atoms. Okay. So what is a semiconductor? Okay, helpful link. But basically what I want to say is, and from what I've read from this article, semiconductor, what it is at its heart, we have to understand what a conductor versus insulator means. And that has to do with the idea of electrons. So I think electrons are maybe different types of maybe energy. So let's actually take a look. What is an electron? Neutrons, protons and neutrons. I was going to say neurons, neutrons. What is electricity? What is a particle? Now a walkover. Okay, so yeah, this is pretty unstructured because yeah, I'm pretty, what do you call it? Just open to exploring different types of ideas. Maybe I won't get a lot of things done, but this I feel like is probably going to be helpful in understanding kind of the basics of the tech industry. There's a lot of things involved here. All right, let's take a look. So how did we get here, actually, from what a particle is, right? We had first taken a look at the tech industry. It's broken up to three different sub-industries. Or, sorry, when I say tech industry, the information technology sector is broken up into three industries. Then within these industries, we saw that there was an industry called semiconductors. And I hear about this in the news a lot, but it doesn't seem like it's super clear to me what it actually is. So then I looked at what is a semiconductor, and this McKinsey article kind of explained it as it's a device that's formed using silicone or some material that is semiconductive, meaning that it's able to pass electrical energy or currents through itself. So let's maybe start there. McKinsey writes that a semiconductor is the idea of so that a semiconductor is exactly what the name suggests, a thing that semi-conducts electricity. From elementary school, we learned about something being conductive versus inductive, meaning that it's materials being conductive versus inductive, meaning that electricity is able to pass through. Electricity, I think more specifically, protons is able to pass through. Alright, conductive versus yeah, I don't know if it's conductive versus an insulator. Insulation, maybe? I think that's what it is. Let's take a look. Insulator. Okay. Maybe inductive is the word. Being inductive. Induction. Okay. Versus insulation. A conductor versus insulator. So, okay, so now we're kind of where we're at on how we got to this article. Given that everything in itself reduces particle question itself, what are particles? You just heard the Age of War theme song pass by. That's crazy.
That's probably muscular. That's a muscular.
Protons, neutrons. Oh man. Yeah, there's some, I guess you could say, physics jargon here. So I'm not entirely sure what a wave function actually is. Collapse, I can see that. It seems like the variance of the position is pretty tight. So there's very low variance. was precocious.
Where is it? Is it where?
Inscrutable. It's funny. Okay.
That's how I feel about season 2.
Hmm.
Flashbacks. When he was jazzy, he was him. When he was jazzy, he was him. He's no longer him. Yeah, but you're not. But you're. That's because you refuse to call you red.
Okay, yeah, so I'm scrolling through this pretty quickly now because I've gotten to the point where I'm reading through it and none of this is making really much sense. So I think it's a kind of a lost cause. I will save it for now, but it does get pretty technical about some of the math behind it, and my mind doesn't really want to do math right now. I think some maybe takeaways is that even particle physicists don't really understand what a particle actually is. It seems to be the most finite, most basic form of physical reality, I guess you could say. I keep saying that. But it is the most basic form of physical reality, even more basic than an atom or a proton, a neutron, an electron. Or maybe an atom is a particle. Is an atom considered a particle?
What if I see Alan? Yeah, what if I see that image? Where is this? See, he's not.
Okay. Yeah, there seems to be a few different types of definitions. Maybe it's not fully agreed upon. But that kind of exposes ourselves to I'm sure, the very wild sub-industry that is the semiconductor industry. Okay. Now, where do I want to go next? I think I will probably stop here with the semiconductor stuff. Did get a little bit lost in the sauce when trying to understand what a particle is. But this is interesting. I did see this earlier. Maybe this is kind of where I could start. So there are different types of indexes to track a basket of stocks. And of course this is an S&P Standard & Poor primer. So all of the indexes are going to be the Standard & Poor's. But I think... Oh, okay, that's cool. But I think that the NASDAQ is also a pretty interesting measure of stocks, of tech stocks. S&P 500 Technology Index. Yeah, maybe they do or they do not. Constituents. Yeah, what does czar mean? Companies in the NASDAQ. Okay, so we have how many? How many technology companies are in the NASDAQ 100? Consumer staples, what's in here? Monster beverage, Kraft Heinz, Coca-Cola, consumer discretionary, Fastenal, Cintas, Paychex, Ross Store, Sirius XM. Okay. Basic materials, there's nothing there. Consumer staples, healthcare, industrials. DoorDash is considered industrials. That's surprising, I'm not gonna lie. Intel Corporation is also considered industrial. That is also very interesting. Okay. So maybe I will add these into the NASDAQ 100. So NASDAQ 100 information technology companies. These are all publicly traded.
Oh, Watkins. You absolute dancer.
So KLA Corporation. Lam Research Corporation. Autodesk. I'm not entirely sure. I've never heard of any of these. I've heard of Microsoft. So Adobe and then EA Electronic Arts, which I honestly thought was owned by a company. So Qualcomm, Synopsys, so Intuit Microchip Technology Incorporated, ASML, ANSYS. So Intuit, I think, is maybe an evil company. Could be wrong, but I've heard that the company spends a few $1 million per year trying to lobby Congress. Okay. ASINS, ARM, ASML. And then also, there was that one super microchip, something like that. Okay, microchip technology.
Which one's Ryu? Is that Street Fighter Ryu?
ANSYS. There we go. Take-Two Interactive. Take-Two Interactive. Cognizant Interactive. Wait, I'm curious. What is this? Yeah, it sounds familiar. Ryan Brandt also sounds really familiar. Oh. It's worth $25 billion. Okay. I think probably this. Yeah, I would think that this company is surviving just based off the expectation for GTA 6, which I guess we'll see what happens. I'm sure it's going to be a big deal, and a big deal to its stock. Okay, so you have NVIDIA as well. Yeah, that's fair. NVIDIA. Okay, so these are on semiconductor. Marvell, never heard of that. Analog devices, never heard of that. Advanced micro devices, have heard of that, don't know what they do. Kind of, but not really. Cadence Design Systems. Micron Technology. Texas Instruments. Alphabet. Broadcom. Verisk, V-Risk Analytics,
That's despicable and disgusting at the same time.
Fortinet. All right. NXP Semiconductors. We have Meta Platforms, Palo Alto Networks, Workday. Huh. Okay, so this is where we've kind of become. Yeah, this is kind of where we've gone full circle. So this is what we have seen before: KLA, Lam Research, and Autodesk. All right, now we have the Atlassian. I have heard of Atlassian. Don't know exactly what they do. MongoDB, database service, Zscaler. So CrowdStrike, Datadog, Global Foundries, Trade Desk, Applied Materials Inc., Trade Desk, Applied Materials Inc., GE Healthcare, Automatic Data Processing, and Comcast. Okay. Automatic Data Processing, and then Comcast. Alright, now this is a lot. What if I turn these into numbers? So there's about 41 of the NASDAQ 100 companies are part of the information technology industry. Now there's a few of these that I have heard of, and a few of them I have not. So I'm going to highlight the ones where I have just never heard of, and maybe highlight the ones that I kind of know what they mean, but also have no idea what they mean. Okay, so I will do this orange. Also orange. Autodesk, no idea. Microsoft, kind of. Adobe, kind of. EA, kind of. Qualcomm, kind of. Never heard of. ANSYS, never heard of. ASML, heard of that. Microchip Technology, never heard of. Well, just learned about Take-Two Interactive, Cognizant Interactive, never heard of. NVIDIA, I have heard of. On Semiconductor, never heard of. Marvel, never heard of. Never heard of. Analog Devices, never heard of. Advanced Micro Devices, AMD, have heard of. Oops. Cadence Design Systems, never heard of. Micron Technologies, I have heard of. Oh, I keep doing this. Okay. Alphabet, Broadcom. Broadcom I've heard of. No idea what it does though. Fortinet, also have no idea what it does. XP, never heard. Meta, Palo Alto, Cybersecurity, Workday, Job Applications, Atlassian, I think also something similar, not entirely sure. Zscaler, never heard of. So CrowdStrike, heard of, not entirely sure. Global Foundries, never heard of. Never heard of. Never heard of. Never heard of. Okay. KLA Corporation. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, getting a call. So, it's been 40 minutes. I think it's pretty good. I will continue this tomorrow as I maybe dive a little bit deeper, understand what these companies do. So, with that being said, I'll see you for now.